Okay, we are joined now by our international correspondent, Alex Newman. Alex, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Duke. Great to be with you.
Another great report from the Newman Report. We have a situation in Colorado where some high school kids went undercover to see if they could get a COVID shot without the proper procedures. They don't really want the shot, but they wanted to expose whether or not school would give it to them anyway. And yes, to the surprise of nobody, the school caved. Tell the story, Alex.
Yeah, it is unconscionable, Duke. So you have these two students, a 15-year-old and a 16-year-old. You're right, they did not want the shot. But the Heritage High School in Denver, Colorado, set up a vaccine clinic. And the superintendent, Ewert, I believe his last name was, said, hey, yeah, nobody's going to be able to get a shot without their parents present. Don't worry, we're not going to just be willy-nilly injecting your underage children with vaccines. And, of course, it's exactly what they were doing. These two kids showed up. They gave fake names. They weren't even asked for ID. There was no parent there. One of them had a fake consent form. And, oh, yeah, sure, here's your shot. Right, and obviously the kids walked off before actually getting the injection. But this is happening all across the country, Duke. We wrote a story on this for the Newman Report at FreedomProject probably a month ago, where in Louisiana and Oregon and New York, they're shoving these experimental injections into the arms of children without the permission and consent of their parents. It is an atrocity happening, and yet it is completely expected.
Do you think there'll be any fallout for the kids who did this? Usually, the public schools, when they're caught in this kind of sting, let's say, they are very vindictive. What do you expect the next step will be at this school? Or could it go the other way? Could the school actually be forced to fire somebody and crack down on this violation of policy?
My guess is they're going to just hope it goes away. The dad sent a very angry email to the school officials, and that was shared with some of the reporters who broke this. And there's a lot of anger in the community. You know, even people who want their kids to get these injections, and I don't know very many of them. In fact, I can't think of any. Everybody, I think, agrees that parents ought to be involved in the medical decisions that are being made for their children. So to have these types of decisions being made behind the parents' back, even after promising that it wouldn't happen, is unconscionable. And I think if the scandal gets too big, the school will probably have somebody fall on their sword. But I think their preference would be to just retaliate against these kids and pretend like it never happened.
Alex, you and I both know, really, we both understand that way behind this is the progressive Great Reset left. And one of the great premises of the New World Order here, educationally, is going to be your kids' emotional learning and health skill, all that stuff. Every aspect of childhood belongs to the state, not to the parents. And we've seen this in every walk of life, how they're trying to segregate, cut out parents from medical decisions and educational decisions. Here in Virginia, what do we see, right? We had a new governor, passes a law, says, hey, masks are not mandated, and now the public schools are immediately suspending kids who show up on campus without masks. This is how the left works. It's how they get down to business. I'd be remiss before we left if we didn't take a look at the video, a short little clip of the video of what happened in Colorado.
How old are you?
I am 15.
You have to have an adult, honey.
Oh, I brought this, I don't know if this works or not, but...
We have to have a test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he does?
Oh, you got one? All right, you're good to go, bud.
Thank you very much.
Yep, just stand right over here and they'll give you.
The video was a long 5 minutes, so we fast forwarded after we got through the main point, where a 16-year-old kid with fake documentation slips it past the monitors of this, and they were all ready to give the injection to the young man. Pretty remarkable.
Yeah, and that's happening across the country, dude. They're offering these kids $100 gift cards. They're offering them pizza parties if they get their injections. And the kids think, hey, all I have to do is fake my parents' signature on this. They sure, I'll do it, right? In New York, they had people, calling in. An older friend calls in and says, oh, yeah, I'm their parent. They can take the shot, right? And when you're offering kids these big bonuses and when you're pressuring them and you're telling them they're irresponsible if they don't take it, of course kids will defy their parents' wishes. And if you don't have systems in place, like they obviously don't in Colorado, then a lot of those kids are going to end up getting the injection. It's, in my opinion, an absolute crime.
There's so much that's criminal about this, and I really fear for this country 5, 10, 20 years down the road where the possibility of long-term consequences may set in. Because you know as well as I do, the government will not allow any kind of lawsuit to come after these monsters and these ghouls.
That's right. And they all have immunity. And, you know, to go back to that question that you asked, who owns the children? That's the question that we all need to be thinking about, because the state wants to raise your children for you. They want to educate and medicate and feed your children for you. If you don't stand in the way, that's where this is all going. So be careful, folks.